Hi guys, Harry Yotis here, professional trader for 20 years now. Started my career in 2005 and still alive. Can I still say that? In 2026. Wow, another down day in the markets. It looked promising and then coming back down again. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of June, and another down day. Market down 1.5%. It's basically down about 4 or 5% in like a week. This entire week, like the past 5 trading days, gave up 1 month's worth of gain because this is the market that is defined by Mr. Day here. Pain. So what do you think we're going to see in the future? Pain. Okay. So before we get to the pain market and what this entails, okay, let's get to the technical picture. Guys, what do you think? Bullish or bearish? Still bullish. Despite this crazy move, we're still above the 50. Now that could change very soon because this is going into waterfall mode. Okay. Waterfall mode is dangerous because you don't know when it ends. But so far, we are still technically speaking bullish despite this 5% drop, feeling like it's a 10% drop. Okay, so technically speaking, we're bullish, and here the sentiment is where it's important. We're coming to the extreme fear that I think we're going to get to. Remember, that's why for the past couple of days, even after this big down day on, when was this? Friday, it's not over. Okay, because we never went to extremes. We have to get rid of all of this exuberance built up beforehand. We said the first target will be 725, and we could easily go to the 700 level, retest the breakout point, which would be crazy. Okay. However, now it's on the table because we are still in fear. If we get to extreme fear, another down move like today will bring us to like the 712 level. And maybe here in the extreme fear, and then one more will bring us to single digits. So 2 big down days like today could bring us to the single digit extreme fear situation. Okay, very possible. See, everything is now cycling back to fear, extreme fear, the breadth. Okay, put call options, fear, they might go into extreme. The only thing that isn't, everything else extreme fear. The only thing that isn't extreme and neutral is the VIX. Okay, and if you can see the VIX, it's just at 22. It's not that much. Okay, that's why I think we can get to one of these big giant spikes before going down into the 30-ish level, 28 to 30, which would happen if we get those, if we get another couple of days like today, okay, which will meet like this. We'll go down to 710 or 700, okay, on the SPY. It's just 25 points from here. It's not that much. It's like, what is it, 3%, 4%? It's possible. It's very, very possible. We could get to these extreme levels, okay? And that's why pain ahead. And we're getting into a waterfall type moment, okay? But so far, not there yet. That's why we can still go to extreme fear. We always seem to go to extreme fear, never to extreme greed. That's why I expect it to get there. Maybe to 710 at least, something, okay? We also had a macro print today that everybody was looking for, CPI inflation, 0.5%, but we were expecting 0.5%, okay? And the core inflation rate was 0.2, we were expecting 0.3, so slightly cooler in the core, which means that most of the inflation move is oil. Okay, so again, inflation's there. It's not as bad as people think. However, okay, it doesn't do us well. The narrative is still in play now. It's just a fresh narrative that's been built. We have to get people more short. We have to get people to die who are long here, and maybe not yet. They're feeling a lot of pain, but not enough. Okay. So we have to wait. I think there's more move. Okay, so let's get into this pain market. What do I mean by pain, guys? You know, it's a waterfall move, but it's more exhibited in the gold space. Okay, in the gold space is where we are actually seeing capitulation. Okay, we are seeing devastating moves today. Gold down another 4%. Okay, it's down a lot, 10% in like 3 days, 4 days. Okay, so big moves in gold, and this is capitulation action. We're in the midst of it, not in the markets yet, but I expect maybe this will happen in the markets. Okay, so this capitulation action is evident in gold, and it's crazy because we're seeing, I'm buying a little bit every day I'm going to do it for a couple more weeks. Okay, we're getting to the 4,000 level, which is key, and then 4,000 level is big. Okay, so the thing with capitulation is you don't know when it ends. You're in the middle of it. Okay, we saw that in the bullish percent. We're at 0. That's never happened. Okay, that means that 0% of miners are exhibiting bullish patterns. That has never happened even during the 2011-2019 bear market. There were at least one or two that were doing pretty well. Okay, but not today. Today we're at extremes. Today the fear is gripping. And why is this fear in waterfalls? I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere that people are just dumping stocks regardless of value. So they just want to raise cash. Okay, they're just raising cash, and they're doing it with impunity. Not with impunity, with blinders on. Okay, with blinders on, because they don't understand what they are dumping. Okay, a number of my juniors are down 40%, and a lot of them have increased their resource by at least 50 to 100%. It's crazy, but that's what happens in waterfall. You get destructive moves like this, and you don't know when the end is. Okay, and why this is crazy, because gold is down 4% on the narrative that we're going to have higher real yields because of inflation and the Fed has to increase. However, if you look at the US 10-year, okay, it's not higher than the 4.67 level before, and today it's just barely, for the past 3-4 days, it's just barely holding on to the 4.5. We look at the US 10-year because that is the benchmark for the market, and you see it's basically flat. So it has gone up, yes, over the course of the war, but it's not as high as it was a month ago. Okay, and it's sort of holding below these levels. So it's not showing extremes yet in the US 10-year. Okay, so the US 10-year is showing no extremes, yet gold is. So gold is playing the narrative out in a vicious way, which just shows you that in its capitulation waterfall mode, where fundamentals don't matter. And we can see the same thing, on the FedWatch tool here. We see that, remember we saw this is the FedWatch tool for all of 2026. We saw that this column here, 3.5%, is no hike. There's a 32% chance of no hike, 33, but a 43% chance of one hike, and 20% chance of two, and a 3.6% chance of three hikes. It's actually went lower. Okay, there's the whole area here. These three columns is a 67% chance of at least one hike, maybe more. So it really hasn't moved. It was at 33, 32% for the whole 3-4 days now. So this hasn't moved. The rate hike odds haven't moved from 3 days ago. The US 10-year hasn't moved from 3 days ago. It's basically the same, but gold has. Gold has moved in 3 days down 10%. So it's apparent that they're just dumping gold. Okay, we're in capitulation mode where everything else, maybe this one candle here was enough, but these other two is just capitulation. People saw the one candle here that it broke the 200 level, and they just started dumping. Okay, this is perfect. This is what you want to see. Total irrational capitulation in the space. Okay, and another thing that I should mention is these events, you don't know when they're over. Okay, what you usually look at is like a gap down open and it gets bought up quickly. You want to see buyers step in and the capitulation ending. Okay, like that's gold, but if you look at GLD, which doesn't trade 24/7, we had the gap down today and it looked like in the morning it was going to go up and recover, but no. So it finished at lows, which makes me think we go even lower. Tomorrow could be the day where we gap down and go back up. I don't know, but because we finished at lows, I think we continue to go lower. It's not over. Okay, for the gold, we're close. It's just not over yet. Okay, and the other thing that I want to mention is that with gold here capitulating, okay, it usually bottoms first before the market. Not always. This is just, we could see more pain, like the market could go down, gold could go down, and the market could go down a further 2-3 days after that, where gold stabilizes and goes up. That's a sign. These are the signs that we look at to see that the capitulation in the gold space is over, and consequently, when the capitulation in gold is over, so will the capitulation in the market. I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, because that's how it always works. Gold is pro-cyclical at this. Recently, gold has been pro-cyclical, meaning that it goes with the market, not against it. Okay, so this is what I want to mention about pain and waterfall markets, that it might be coming here. We might be getting the same move in gold. We might be getting the same move in the market that we had in gold for the past 3 days, which would be devastating. You're going to feel more pain. So I'm just waiting for the signs for when this capitulation is over. In the meantime, I'm buying small, buying each day and I expect to do it for another week or two. Okay, so these things are. You should know that gold investors are one of the most irrational, emotional creatures, and once they see like, the technical thing here. Once it give them a reason to sell, and they'll dump it, and that's what they're doing. Okay, so that's my thoughts, guys. We are in the middle of a sell-off. There's going to be more pain, I suspect, in the markets, and in gold, we'll see where it bottoms out. But those are the signs that I'm looking for. I'm looking for more downside in the market, more downside in gold too, but looking for signs in gold, which will probably lead the market, that we are close to a bottom. Okay, some kind of action. I don't know what it looks like. There are 2 or 3 ways it could play out, but I will see it, and I will inform you guys when I do see it. All right, so let's see what happens Thursday and Friday. This week has been devastating. Okay, later.